So namaste to everyone. So I have been just introduced and welcome. Thank you for the invitation. And it's a very unique name that you have given here. Satsanga Sandhya. So we have heard of Bhajan Sandhya. This is Satsanga Sandhya. That's very creative. So he said we'll begin our session with the we will begin this with some small exercise in trying to gather our mind. I won't call it a big meditation session, though yes, externally we'll say that. We'll just try to gather our mind. So before that, even I will chant some Shanti mantras. Why don't you all sit down? Please come. And of course, from Vivekananda Study Circle, IIT Madras, also we have representation. Our Rajesh Chausali is here. So he was, how many years back now? 7 to 12. 10 years back. Oh, that's quite a time. It just looks, and Bharadwaj also is here. So we'll begin with some chanting. Do you have any practice of meditation in the sessions here? Generally you don't do it. So I will therefore give you a small introduction what we are going to do. So meditation, is an English word. So the ideal word is dhyana. Dhyana means again, if you say from the viewpoint of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, it is 7th step. Before that, you have got preparations like yama, niyama, pranayama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, 7th. And then samadhi. Samadhi means deep concentration, divine concentration. So we will begin with trying to withdraw the mind. That's called pratyahara. These are all mental exercises, trying to withdraw the mind. Generally our mind is busy with so many things. But again, meditation to be very successful in a larger scheme of things, it is always to be supported by a very regulated and very moral life. Then only meditation becomes a right exercise. Anyway, this is a subject for a longer discussion. I'm just giving an introduction to that. So every Saturday morning, and today was Saturday, so we have a session in IIT Kanpur. These days I'm doing it online. So today's session was kind of cancelled because I have come here to Ramakrishna Math in Baswangudi for taking part in a seminar. So although the session was cancelled, now it has appeared in this form. That's nice. So as we do that session, we will do in the same way here. So I request everyone to sit straight. So sitting straight is part of meditation exercise. Some people may say, we can lie down and we can meditate on God. Let's not go into that. We will fall asleep if you do that. So let us now sit straight. Keep your spinal column straight. That's very important. And first I will chant 2 or 3 Shanti mantras. The Shanti mantras are from the Upanishads. These have a universal appeal. It's a prayer for Shanti, prayer for higher consciousness, prayer for strength, for purity of mind. So you can close your eyes and listen to these mantras. Then I will give you a couple of instructions. Please follow them. So you're all comfortable? So let us close our eyes and try to listen to these Shanti mantras. Tamasato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangai Suštuvagam Sastanuhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravah Swasti na Usha Vishwavedah Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatiradadhatu Om Shanti 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 Tejo Asi Tejo Mai Dehi Balamasi Balam Mai Dehi Ojo Asi Ojo Mai Dehi Viryamasi Viryam Mai Dehi Manyurasi Manyum Mai Dehi Saho Asi Saho Mai Dehi Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now one mantra in praise of Swami Vivekananda. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine So this is our chanting. Now we'll try to gather the mind. Please remain seated like this as you are seated. Straight, without slouching. Let us feel relaxed. Let us first begin by thinking positively about oneself. Think positively about yourself in every way, whether it is health, whether it is life's various situations. Let us feel we are strong, healthy and positive. and try to convey the same to all those who are around us in this hall and beyond, within this institute, within this city, or within this country or beyond. May all beings be at peace. We pray for the well-being and peace of all living beings, for all human beings especially. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. May no one suffer. May all follow the right path, the path of righteousness, of dharma, of goodness, of unselfishness. May we all progress towards higher and higher states of inner being. May no one suffer misery. May all be healthy. May all walk on the right path. May there be peace and harmony everywhere. Let us mentally offer our gratefulness to all the great teachers of meditation who across the centuries have discovered and handed over this path of inner withdrawal, the dhyana prakriya. Our thanks, our regards to them and to all forms of God in which the human mind tries to understand and feel the presence of that divine power. By various names we may call that power. We bow down to all of those forms. And keep your mind in the present moment. Feel that you are sitting in this hall. You are listening to this chirping of the birds. The evening is setting. Night is drawing in. You are sitting peacefully in this hall. Try to feel that you are sitting here. Don't think about any other subject now. We need not go on arguing in our mind or trying to question things. At this moment, let us try to keep away from those mental activities. Keep ourselves in the present moment. Feel that you have this human body. This human body which is so very precious. Try to feel the thing that you have this precious human body. We are not stones or we are not plants or animals. We have this extraordinary, gifted human body-mind complex. Feel the various limbs of your body, both the feet, the toes, the calf muscles, knee joints, thighs, the hip joints. These two legs which make us mobile, which make things happen for us to go, to travel, to work. Feel you have strong legs. Your spinal column, the shoulders, the chest. Try to feel the lungs within, the action of the breathing happening there. Feel both the hands, the fingers, the palms, the elbows, the upper arms. We try to feel our neck, the head, the forehead, eyes, cheeks and the chin, and the ears which are absorbing this sound, these thoughts. This is our body. Let us be aware of our body first. Feel the vital energy in the body, the prana shakti, which is making the heart work, all the various organs work. They all work because of this prana shakti. Feel that. Feel it through the nostrils, which means through the breathing. Feel your breathing. How it goes on when we are awake, doing work, or when we are asleep, taking rest. The breathing goes on. And it's not that we breathe, there is some power which makes us breathe. We have no options in that, it's just happening. Try to feel your breathing. And as we breathe in, feel how you breathe in through the nostrils, through the windpipe, lungs, right up to the navel. Now try to feel your own mind. Try to feel the presence of a psychological instrument in us called our mind. We have the intellect, we have the receptacle of all old memories, our aspirations, all experiences. It is called chitta, a receptacle inside us. That's what we are thinking about. That we have this receptacle, we are watching our own mind. This is a unique capacity of the human beings. They can watch their own mind. Let us not try to solve or react any of these thoughts which we are observing. Like a detached, unconcerned witness, a spectator. As we observe the world around us, we observe the buildings, we observe the road, the trees. We are not the roads, we are not the trees. We are separate from them. Likewise, we are separate from our thoughts also. We are just observing them. A good thought comes, or a disturbing thought comes. A traumatic experience comes up with the memory. Let us not react to them. This itself is a great practice. We don't react to them. We just observe them. And then try to now focus the mind within. First we try to practice this detachment, and then we try to focus the mind For focusing, we require an object. So let's try to visualize a mental object. It could be, if you are devoted to any deity, any form of God, to that you can focus, or you can focus on the flame of a burning candle. In the middle of your chest, think of that. Feel that there is holiness there, there is purity, there is a manifestation of divine consciousness there. Think of it in the center of the chest. We are trying to focus the mind on a mental object and not to react to our own thoughts, not to react to external sound or any stimuli. Let us try to feel the deep silence present within us. It is not loneliness, it is the richness of silence. We will together chant Om once, then for a few minutes we'll try to just focus the mind within. I shall chant, you please chant along with me. Long Om we will chant. Now I will not give any instruction. Just try to focus the mind in the middle of your chest, thinking of holiness, thinking of purity, peace, divinity there. If you are able to do it, that's very good. If you find it hard to do it, you can just repeat Om inside and try to withdraw the mind. Sometimes mind is very restless, but through prayer, through practice, we can make it silence over the long period of repeated practice. So now let us meditate. At the end I shall say a prayer and we'll close. Now let us give a Vishram, a pause to our activity of meditation, mental activity of meditation here. Let us chant Shanti 3 times together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now you can slowly open the eyes. This is the end of our meditation session. So what will be our, how do we spend this Sandhya?
Maharaj, it's an interactive question and answer session.
Right.
So people will have questions, feel free to ask.
Yes.
Maharaj, I'll try to help moderate it.
Right.
So thank you very much for the wonderful meditation center. It certainly set the tenor for the evening. Let's start with a question that was raised a short time ago by Sumanjan. Perhaps you can ask it himself.
Namaste.
My name is Sumanjan. I have a question. The question is that how does a student in a setup like IISc or IIT, especially when you do a lot of PhDs, how does a student lead a spiritual life in such a competitive environment? What is the schedule or what are the best practices that we should follow to spiritualize our academic lives?
Very nice. You have a very pertinent question. How do we live a spiritual life? So, what is spiritual life? What's our understanding of spiritual life? Let's make it interactive. What do you say? What is spiritual life? Why don't you sit down there? Yes, sit there. What do you feel? What is your concept of this life, spiritual life?
What I understand by spiritual life, so I will be very generic in this, that spiritual life is a life of introspection, where you always strive to be happier than what you are today. So this is what the idea is, and
You have hit the right point. That is, it is an introspective life. That is very true. In the Kathopanishad, there is a verse. It's a very famous verse. Paranchikhani vyatranat swayambhu. And having said this, at the end he says that a person who has avrat chakshu, one who has made his chakshu by what it meant senses or the mind. Avrat means drawn within. So a person, one who has withdrawn his mind or he is trying to do introspection, he is on the path of spirituality. That's very true. So suppose we withdraw the mind, we try to look within. First of all, most people don't do it. They do think, they do evaluate and examine things, because that's what a common, a normal human being will do. That when a situation comes, you weigh its pros and cons. But introspection is little more than that. So introspection is, what's the goal of introspection? Introspection's goal is, let us call it as Viveka. So what's Viveka? Is there a difference between ordinary thinking and Viveka? Yes, there is a difference. So any thinking is ordinary thinking. It may be little intellectual, it may be little developed. But in Viveka, is always we are trying to think of what is right and wrong on one side, and what is eternal and what is non-eternal. what is going to be beneficial as different from what is pleasurable. So they are not same. We all know this, that what is pleasurable may not be beneficial, and what is beneficial may not immediately be very pleasurable. Maybe long run we may derive some joy in that, and we will derive some joy in that. That is what in the Bhagavad Gita there is a verse which says there are three types of joys: Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. And in the Sattvika joy, it says Yatadagram Vishamiva. In the beginning it looks very bitter, like Visha. But at the end it's very pleasant. It's just like eating amla. Right? First you eat amla, it is very sour and slightly bitterish. At the end it will leave a very sweet impact. Beginning it is like that. So we have that sattvic joy, or we have the rajasic joy. The beginning it looks very nice, but the end result is very bad. And tamasic joy is right from beginning till end, everything is darkish, gloomish, and there is some kind of happiness in that. So in exercising our viveka, we should see what is it that we ultimate goal of human life. What is the ultimate goal of all our activities? So as we analyze, we also come to the point of who am I? And introspection is also very important. Who am I? Because it is a sense of I which really determines and which generates the feeling what I am going to do in my life. Suppose I think myself to be only my sensory pleasures. Suppose I think like that I am my senses, I am my various urges, so I will be just busy with fulfilling those urges. But suppose I think myself not to be just a body which has these senses, but something more than that. This is uniqueness of the Vedantic tradition, the Upanishadic tradition, which they say, no, you are more than that. There is some divine consciousness in us. In the Viveka Chudamani of Shankaracharya, there Adi Shankara makes a statement. He says, think of it, that there is a divine consciousness which is encaged in I consciousness. I am this, I am the body, I am this ego. And with that, rest of all our quarrels and all things start. It begins with that. A very significant statement. So we have to find out who we are. I said, then what's the role of God there? What is the place of God there? So what is the idea of God? Now we are all people with scientific bent of mind. So is God? Many people say there is no God. Because if God was there, He should have been visible. I should press a button, He should be present there. Why He is not visible? Or if God is there, then why there is cruelty in this world? Why there are so many wrong things happening in life? There is injustice, there is exploitation, so many things. If God was there, we know from our common experience that there is some intelligent person, he will control all these things. But he is not doing all that, so he is not there. So there is one line of thinking, and a very large number of people think. But there are people with more, I would say, wiser line of thinking. They would say, why do you reduce God only to that concept? When you discover your real self, that self is God Himself. It's God Himself. There is Atma and Paramatma. We speak of these two words. Atma and Paramatma are not two different things. So it means I am God. Oh, then I am God, I will order things to people. Then the other person also will say, I am also God. So there will be a quarrel. So when we actually say that I am God, we are not speaking of this body, mind as God. Not our ego and our desire as God. It is a divinity within which we are saying as God. Its manifestation varies from person to person. from capacity to capacity. And our inner experience, if we have that, suppose we discover that we are the divine, which means it's not just passing some mental, some kind of a construct. Oh, I am. No, it's not. It's an experience which many of our great rishis have had. So if you have that, then you find that ultimate reality, whom we call as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, is a manifestation of this divine within me. So we can think of when we can pray to God. Most of the good hospitals, there'll be temple or a place for doing their prayers, because doctors know this, that we cannot make every operation successful. It's not in our hands. I can treat, but I cannot cure. Doctor only treats. He has the art and he has the science of medicine. But there are many things which are not in the hands of doctor. I was talking to Mr. Sen, one of our doctors in Kanpur ashram. So I asked him, did you have any very difficult situation? He said, yes. Once I gave one injection to a patient, and I should have given half the dose, but I gave more than double dose. Later I discovered this, I made a mistake. Then repeatedly I went to that room to check whether that patient is okay. And I was praying to God, may nothing happen. By morning he was all right. So I understood, with my best of my knowledge and best of my intentions, I may make mistakes. So I will have to think of a divine presence around me. That's also part of spirituality. To acknowledge that divinity, have that introspection, think of the goal of life. Say for instance, somebody is, he gets a lot of anger. He gets carried away by anger. So he should think, why am I becoming angry so much? You should sit apart. Not that you will overcome your anger overnight, it's not easy. So anger is also kind of a habit. I have an expectation. If it is not met, I am angry. So whether it is right to be angry or whether it is wrong to be angry. Just now we chanted our Shanti mantras. In that there is one Manyuasi Manyum Maidhe. Manyu means righteous anger, rightful anger. Suppose you are in a position when, suppose you are holding a very responsible administrative post and you see something wrong happening, should you not become angry? You should become angry. That's called Manyu. How did these people take away the money? How did they they became dishonest? So if we do not have Manyu in our mind at all, then we will become like a jellyfish and people will step over us and go. There is no anger of that. But there are many times it's not Manyu. It is not this rightful kind of a thing. It is simply because of dislikes, likes and dislikes. I don't like moong ki dal. Ye kyun moong ki dal bana diya aaj? Anger. Or I don't like this color. Why did they put this color? You just examine. So whether it is right or wrong. So as we go on checking, we do introspection. So we check whether we have anger, we have greed, we have unnecessary fears. Fear is also a kind of a thinking. When you become free from fear, that is also kind of thinking. So you should have the right knowledge. So I am afraid behind this, let's say there is a curtain and I have an imagination behind that something is sitting. Maybe a cat is sitting. But it's a wrong knowledge and that's giving me fear. So I do introspection. What is there? Whatever may be sitting, here I am strong enough. I'll face it. So all this will part of the spiritual life. Now having made this, that this is what all would say spiritual life consists of, to some extent. Now your question is to how to live it in this let's say ecosystem or as you are doing in this competitive world. I think it is quite natural that we should live spiritual life. It's very unnatural that we don't live spiritual life. Because it's so good for us. It is so good for us. Generally, people wait for a long path when they really realize the value of these values. Swami Vivekananda, one place he says, a man may go down as much as you may think of, but a time comes when he will rise above. But why wait for coming down? Why have to come down and then rise above? Wherever you are, from there you rise above. Why you have to push yourself into a ditch and then say, I will come out of the ditch? Stand beside the ditch. Similarly in our life also. So about this thing, one of our Swamiji, Swami Atmashraddhanandaji, he is the Hindu chaplain of Harvard University. So he told an incident, since he has been there for past 20 years. So there in Harvard, they have a story that when the first atomic bomb happened in Hiroshima, and so many people died, and the news came, it came to the chairman of the university, not the vice chancellor, they call it chairman. It seems he was very disturbed that this kind of a thing should have happened, and the discovery for atom bomb with that Enrico Fermi and others, it should have happened in our university. So we have indirectly, or rather directly, we have contributed to the death of so many thousands and lakhs of people. So he was deeply disturbed. It seems 1 week he couldn't get sleep, a kind of guilt. Then afterwards he started thinking, all right, whatever happened, happened. Now how do we set right things? No, we must give values to people. They must be guided by something more than science. Along with science, we must be guided by some values. So when he started thinking, first thing he did was he set up a platform. He called it as a religious platform, where people from all religions can come and preach. But slowly it became separated. Now, let's say the Hindus have got their platform, and Christians have got theirs, and others have theirs. I don't know the full details. So the point is, only having science without values could lead to a lot of disasters. And I think it's a question of just time, because it's just like you have a knowledge of how to operate a gun. But if you don't have values, you will kill your own people. Maybe you will kill yourself. We have the story of Bhasmasura. Bhasmasura was caught by his own Vardhan which he had got. He kept, he was killing people by putting his hand. Then they said, all right, wherever you will put your hand, that person will be Bhasma. Then Lord came and took some dance, did some dance in front of him. These stories convey some message actually. So Lord Vishnu took some the beautiful form and started doing dance. And within the dance, he also started dancing. So he is also dancing, he is also dancing. So he is imitating. Then he put his hand on his head. Then Bhasmasura also put on his head. So he became Bhasma. So point is, we should not become Bhasmasura. We have knowledge, but with that we should have values. So I think wherever we are, it's a question of how much of deep faith we have. One of our IIT friends once told me in Madras, he was doing his some course when he was in US, then he came back from there. So what was the thing was that he was doing it under a very well-known professor who had got some Nobel Prize also. Now he was a very strong Jew. He believed in his religion. That too, among the Jews there are some very, strong people who are strong in the sense they believe in certain things, that on Fridays or on Tuesdays you should not use any vehicle. So he used to come to university walking on those days. So it's not that I'm neither appreciating nor criticizing. I'm just saying a person can have his own belief system. You can have your own belief system. And we all have our belief system. And we have such a healthy belief system in the form of Vedanta, in the form of Upanishads or Swami Vivekananda's teachings. If we believe in it, we try to live it in our life. Anything we try to live means there will be obstacles. Even when we are driving car, there are so many obstacles. So even if you take up a belief system, there will be obstacles. You will have to face them, you will have to challenge those obstacles and overcome them. But I think living spiritual life is, or the moral life is what makes us human being. A very funny incident one psychologist told, very funny, because it happened somewhere in UP. So there was this bus going, and the bus met with an accident, and a few people died also, and others were injured, and a good number were okay. So there was one lady in that, one old lady. So she had some small scratches, but she was okay. This was the days when there were no cell phones. So she came home. Meanwhile, this accident had been reported on TV. So they were showing. Meanwhile, when she reached home, then she narrated to them that, look, this is, I've come. Oh, achha, you were also in that bus? Oh, I see. Good that you are saved. Good that you are saved. You are here. And then they sat down looking at the TV. In the TV they are saying, those who died, for them the government will give a compensation of 10 lakhs. And the main person in the house was very sad. Money has become more important than human beings. How sad, how sad. Ultimately, you will also die one day. Those who are saying that money, let it come to me and I will enjoy. How long will you enjoy? So if you go deeper and deeper and deeper, there has to be a moral order in this world. So in a more specific sense, your living spiritual life is, you hold a meeting like this, you read something from Swamiji as he announced that you are regularly reading Swamiji's teachings. It's all wonderful. It's a community support to each other. And suppose this community support is not there, you are all alone in your own room, then it's a little more challenging. There also we should try to do it. I think it is Houston Smith. He was a very well-known. He's no more. At the age of 100, he died. So he wrote a book, Why Religion? Why Man Needs Religion. It's not that some need is there. For various reasons, sociological needs are there. We want to be, bondings and all that. But mainly from a spiritual angle. So there is tragedy, there is pain, there is disease. There are a lot of issues at the domestic level, at the other level. When we see all that, we'll try to look for a solution. And that solution finally we find in making the human beings better. What Swami Vivekananda called as man-making. If man-making is what is going to finally solve things, and of course the system also has to be set right. So for that we need spiritual life. Anyone else? Any interaction, any aspect of what we have discussed?
I think it is more of a comment than a question, because it's very related as he asked. So it seems to me that it's actually the challenge that almost most people are facing is I think most people in India probably have a sort of an intuitive understanding of what are saying, but somehow to bring them into practice when we live in the world, that seems to be extremely challenging because of the right from childhood they have these pressures, and then basically living in a city and having a day job, looking after the child. And that, for example, looking after the child itself seems to be an extremely challenging task. For which you need a lot of patience and at the same time skills. So, looking after your family, having a job in a city, and it is where it's very crowded outside, dust and everything, and even after the job, once you maybe become old, there comes some other task of looking after your grandchildren. Because the son or daughter may be working, and so throughout you have to, it seems to me that living in the world itself, as a householder, and it seems to be extremely challenging in all of these ways. Even though we sort of intuitively understand what the Upanishads and are trying to say, for example, even if you just it's very easy to get disturbed learning it to, as I just try to explain. There are so many ways in which you could get disturbed. Your mind can get disturbed, and you become sort of subservient to your nature, and you being a master of it.
What you say is right, that there are a lot of challenges. But are we interested in the solution? If we are interested in solution, we'll have to make some changes in our life. Without making changes, you can't bring any, you can't become better. Problem is, we want to hold on to certain things and we want to change also, which is not possible. We'll have to make somewhere some changes. Now, what are those changes? You said about the intuitive understanding of Upanishads. That's true. We all of us have got, it is in the air. We hear it from our parents, our uncles, some statements. But how about ourselves devoting some time in reading these Upanishads? Make your ideas more clearer by reading them. Read the Kathopanishad, read the Mundaka Upanishad, read the Isha Upanishad with simple meaning. Or if you find the Upanishads too very high sounding, read Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga. If you find that also be very high sounding, I'm not undermining your capacities, I'm just saying it's not right now getting absorbed. We all have that capacities. Then if you find that difficult, then you go further. You can read Swami Vivekananda's other books. So what happens is, by first let us make our ideas more clearer. As to, you said about Grahastha life, you spoke of the difficulties. It is true that Grahastha life does have a lot of challenges. But then, what's the way out? Shall we become monks? Not possible for most people. इधर भी नहीं जा सकते, उधर भी नहीं जा, बच गया, बीच में फंस गया. This is a problem. So it's not always that our vairagya is genuine. Many times because we can't face life. Angur katte, that's it. Grapes are sour. We are not able to. So what we have to understand, where we are. In the Gita, in Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga lectures, he says this point. Unless we have reached or passed through various experiences which make our understanding mature, we can't take to sannyasa or monastic life. See, spiritual life is for everyone, but sannyasa life is not for everyone. Because it has got its own demands, very strong demands are there. Very simple thing. Now when I came, all of you offered your pranams. It's very kind of you. Now, suppose tomorrow you come, you are in a sannyasa hall, and the whole institute comes and makes pranam. It requires inner spiritual practice even to absorb honor from others. Now we start thinking, oh, I am very big. No, you are not big. It is the God behind you to whom they are offering pranam. In Bengali, there is a quote which says, I'll translate that. Anyone understands Bengali here? রথযাত্রা বড় ধুমধাম ভক্তরা ছুটিয়েছে করে প্রণাম রথ ভাবে আমি দেব পথ ভাবে আমি মূর্তি ভাবে আমি দেব অসেন অন্তর্যামী ভালো তো so Ratha Yatra is started. Ratha Yatra we all know. So it's a huge Ratha is going and devotees are rushing around and making pranam. So Ratha thinks, they are making pranam to me. And the Patha, because devotees are making pranam on the road is thinking, because I am there, then only Ratha is able to walk, no? So he is thinking, they are making pranam to me. So I am very superior. And inside, the Murti is also thinking, people are offering pranam to me. Seeing all this, the Antaryami is laughing. Actually, they are making pranam to me. And these people are thinking they are making pranam to me. So it's not easy. There are many other aspects. In the Mundaka Upanishad, there is a verse which speaks of that until you have done the examination of all that this world can offer you, you cannot have the right dispassion for the world. Right dispassion is very important. Very often our dispassion is not mature dispassion. So what is that verse? Pariksha lokan karma chitan. From the karma, from your self-effort, whatever you can get, that you have examined, which means all my achievements, all my accomplishments, let me pass through first. Of this world, I can become something very, very covetable position. People will speak very high of me, they will praise me, I'll have money, I'll have prestige, whatever you can think of. Not only this, suppose next loka, of which we have no idea. Once our eyes are closed, it's closed, that's all. Afterwards, where the person has got, no one knows. So, suppose the next loka also, he has got all the wonderful lokas. Swarga loka he has gone. Swami Vivekananda, very great sense of humor. He says, what is Swarga loka? Swarga loka is all the comforts and all the things of this world minus their darker side. Too much of sweet if I eat, I will get diabetes. So in Swarga I will eat sweets, no diabetes. Or I will eat gulab jamun or rasam and I will not have any acidity. So that's a kind of imagination about Swarga. So you have all the experiences of various Swargas, various lokas. Then at the end of it, if you have found Nasti asti kritena, says that you have found that nothing is eternal in all these things. Then comes sa gurum eva tat vijnanartham sa gurum eva gaccheta samitpani shotriya brahmanishtam. Then comes in your heart that desire for spiritual freedom. Then you go to the Guru or the enlightened person with all humility. Many people will go to the teacher with lot of baggage. So one of our Swami Atmashraddhanandaji was one of our monks of Ramakrishna mission. He was here in Bengaluru 50 years back. So he had a great sense of humor. He says some people, it so comes that they want to have spiritual knowledge, but actually they are not keen on making sacrifices. So there was one person, he wanted some spirituality, so he went to a teacher. The teacher said, he was guru, there was a ashrama and all that. I say, Acha, sir, I want to get spiritual enlightenment. I want to follow this discipline. Please accept me. I says, yes, come. So, sir, what is to be done here? Look at these brahmacharis are there. They get up in the morning, so you will also get up in the morning. So, what do they do in the morning? So, they get up early in the morning, they go to bed, they go to the river, they take bath, and then they bring wood for doing homa. Havan has to be done, and then they will bring gobar and they'll put everywhere, and then there'll be yajna, then there'll be some breakfast, and there'll be some class, then they'll cutting vegetables. So throughout the day they are busy. Evening again they have to do this. Seeing all this man said, but sir, what do you do? No, I give upadesha. Can I not become guru then? Very simple. Another person, he says, he came with the idea that he said, I want to join your company. He said, but see, we have no vacancies. He said, sir, somewhere some vacancy will be. You see, we are so overstaffed that we have 12 vice presidents. No, I don't mind becoming the 13th. Point is, even to understand spiritual things, we'll have to let go certain things. So how do you manage your life situations? First of all, try to give a spiritual orientation to your daily routine. Spend some time in the morning as soon as you get up. Try to do some meditation, some introspection. Traditionally it is said that as you get up in the morning, first 15-20 minutes, try to spend in meditation, prayer or japa. फर्स्ट 15-20 मिनट्स. ये नहीं अच्छा सारा कर लिया है तब ठीक है 10 बजे बैठ के जब करें. No, not like that. It's also okay, but no, that's not very effective. As soon as you get up in the morning, fresh up and set up for meditation. You see, it's long-term effect. Those who have practiced it or those who practice it, their mind becomes more subtle in understanding. So same situations will come to us, but we will be able to face them better because our mind instrument is more refined. So this is one thing. Then you can also think of every day spending some time in reading. One is weekly reading, or you can have every day 15-20 minutes or half an hour. So these little things together, they kind of it's just like sharpening the saw. You know the sharpening the saw story that a person used to do cutting of the tree, and his saw had become very blunt, but he had no time to sharpen it. So our mind is like that. It has become blunt. Constantly it's engaged in solving problems and doing things, challenges and all that. We need to sharpen the saw. So every day you can do some sharpen. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that a person who is a grahastha, now and then, at least once in 6 months or once in a year, he should go in solitude. Small solitude. The other day, I won't tell the name of that person because he forbade me to tell. He is running a big company, quite a big company. He has a lot of income from that also. But he is a very sincere, devoted person, somewhere from Maharashtra. I was talking to him. He said, Swamiji, I noted down the work which you wanted me to do, but I'm going out for 6 days to such and such place for my annual retreat. Not that I am going to do some big job there of some meditation and no. Sri Ramakrishna has told us that we should do some ekantavas. So I am going for my ekantavas, but don't tell to anybody. People will think, oh, I am going for big ekantavas, I am advertising myself. No. This is a very simple thing. As soon as I get some time in the banks of a river, I will spend some time in meditation and prayer. No connection with family for a week. He is a very well-meaning person. So we must have some time for ourselves like that. That helps us to sharpen our understanding of life. And this daily practice also. So what was the Vedic tradition? Every day they will do Agni. They will maintain an Agni. Now in today's time it's not possible that 24 hours you will maintain an Agni and for the rest of your life you will maintain Agni. Not possible. Today's reality is very different, social. But somewhere we'll have to make some decision. If not that, I will make some other decision. I will sit for some prayer. But again, we should not just thinking of some rituals. Rituals have got some great help in life. We don't want to become a ritual-less society. No, we want to have some rituals. But to what extent? And what is the purpose of a ritual? It should help me to develop my connection with my own divine self. If I have to do some ritual, I am doing this yajna. So I have invited all my friends. Oh, you have to make arrangements for them. And now they have come, they will want at least water you have to provide them. So lot of energy will go in attending to these things instead of the actual purpose of rituals. You could be that you sit and think of God. A very sattvic type of approach should be there. There is also a Rajasic side. Big things are organized. A social bonding will happen. That's a different thing. If you are a spiritual seeker, Ramakrishna used to say that a seeker of God, where will he meditate? He will say, Vane mane kone. That is, either he goes to a forest or he will sit in a corner. And traditionally in Bengal it's very common because a lot of mosquitoes are there. So everybody will put mosquito curtain there. It's not so always. Here also, do you use mosquito curtains here? Some of you may be using. So says the person who is into spiritual practice, he meditates under his mosquito curtain. Now it doesn't mean that you have to buy one mosquito curtain and start meditating. That's not the meaning. The meaning is that it is his own personal private thing. Without much advertisement, he is meditating. So not much of advertisement, but serious. Now look at the kind of nishtha. This was to be learned from people who follow the Islamic way of life. I have seen going by train. There was an opposite one person was sitting. He said, Abhi hamara namaz ka time hai. He went, washed himself. There itself he put one small safa and started doing his namaz. Running train. 5 times he did. When he can do it without any sense of so-called shame that I am doing my spiritual practice, why can't we do our spiritual practice? I have got up in the morning, मैं तो माला नहीं यूज करूँगा, तो ये तो सब दिखावा होता है. भाई माला इज दिखावा भाई. कभी कभी दिखावा भी हो सकता है. सिंसिरिटी इज ऑल्सो देयर नो. अरे मैं तो यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं लगाता. क्यों? इट्स ऑल शो बिजनेस. इट्स ऑल शो बिजनेस. What about they keeping their dadi or somebody keeping their wearing one cross? It is his Shraddha in his way of life. I have Shraddha in my way of life. That's all. I have no quarrel with anybody. So all these things will remind me, help me to be. See, these external things may help you. Again, here, I should put from here to there, so many things I will do and show it to others that I am very spiritual. No need to do that. But I can definitely follow Swami Vivekananda had a disciple by name Alasinga Perumal. He was a Vaishnava person, a Sri Vaishnava. And like a traditional Sri Vaishnava, he used to put big namam like this, V shape, in between red. And he was very dark complexion, so contrast is there. Dark complexion and this. But he was an extraordinary devoted person. Swami Vivekananda had great appreciation for him. Swamiji wrote more than 40 letters to him. When he went to the West, first letter he wrote was to Alasinga Perumal. So Swamiji used to say, such a devoted person, so humble and so willing to give himself fully to a cause, is very rare to find in this world. There's a separate book on the life of Alasinga Perumal. What I was trying to say is that once when Swamiji was going the second visit to the West in 1899 or so, he went by ship from Kolkata. It came to Madras, and from Madras he was to go to, he wanted to go to the city, but he was not allowed because there was plague in there, so you would have like corona thing, you will not be allowed. So Swamiji was in ship, and there were people, I think for 1 week or so ship was there, or 3-4 days ship was there. So this Alasinga Perumal along with another disciple, Swami Ramakrishnaji, they came by a boat. So Alasinga Perumal's wife, she was a very devoted lady, so she had prepared a lot of karam and a lot of things for Swamiji and Sister Nivedita and Miss MacLeod and Swami Turiyananji were all going to the West. So they wanted to give it to. So they brought the boat near the ship. There, Miss MacLeod saw Alasinga Perumal for the first time, wearing this huge thing, and she wanted to make some uncharitable remark about her. Arey, what is all these things? Swamiji kind of became angry with her. He said, off with these remarks. But for him, you would not have got your Vivekananda. How much devoted he was. When Swamiji was in the West, first time he went, Alasinga Perumal had gathered 3,000 rupees and given him. And he was just an ordinary school teacher. He used to teach science. And when Swamiji went there, he had no idea. There was no Google to check what is the price there, no Google to check what is the weather there. They all went with their own imagination. So he did not have enough clothing, where to stay, and there was a lot of discrimination also. First time a Hindu monk had gone to the West. They had never seen a Hindu monk. So they saw somebody wearing this dress, pull. They tried to, tuck at him. Once Swamiji saw one person from behind pulled his turban. Swamiji turned, why did you pull my turban? He said, why do you dress like that? Then Swamiji said, I had to answer him. That man was a good person, but he had never seen a person dressed like that. Anyway, when Swamiji was running short of money, running out of money, then he wrote to Alasinga Perumal. See, another few hundreds are remaining. What will happen? Because there is a country where you can't go about begging as you can do it here. If you are a monk, you go around, bhiksham dehi, koi na koi aapko bhiksha de hi dega. But that's not so there. So what's going to happen? Then Alasinga Perumal felt so bad. He said, what have I done to a yati, to a monk? I have sent him like this to die in hunger and cold. What is bad thing? So I think he used to get his monthly salary was 60 rupees or 65 rupees in 1893. So 3 months salary. Plus he sold his wife's gold, sold or put it on this. So some 700 rupees he gathered and immediately sent it. Swamiji was so very touched by his devotion. So there have been people with that devotion. We simply say, oh, because he puts a mark on his forehead, he must be very superstitious. Why this kind of branding? He has his own belief, let him follow his belief system. As long as he is sincere, it helps him to become pure, follow it. If it's only a show business, if he's only showing it to others, he is missing out. He's missing out. See how Sikhs are devoted to their beard and kirpan and things. They fought a case in France for keeping a kirpan. So I feel somewhere we should be very devoted to our own practices. We are not asking anybody else to follow my practice, nor I am trying to show it to others. These practices will help me to withdraw the mind, to focus it, because as you very rightly said, intuitively we know many things. And we have read a few things. Knowledge is one thing, but इसको हिंदी में कहते हैं अपने ही knowledge को आदर देना. I don't respect my own knowledge. I tell everybody, hey, सुबह उठना चाहिए, 6 बजे उठने से बहुत अच्छा होता है. And I get up at 8 o'clock. So which means I don't follow my own advice. One of our Swamijis used to make fun. Take my advice anyway, I am not using it. So let us try to follow it. That's it. Yesterday, when our seminar got inaugurated, Swami Atmashraddhanandaji Maharaj, he made a very pertinent statement. He said, he inaugurated it. He is a very old Swamiji. He said that, see, whenever we talk of things, we say, it has to be done, but we always expect the other person will do, not I. So we have to learn to do it ourselves. So bring in a few practices in your life, like reading, like repetition of God's name, and also trying to serve others in whichever way you can. It could be financial, it could be intellectual, shramadhan, samdhan, dhanadan. So we have some small portion of our income to be given for religious. Let us fix it. I once met a gentleman who was in a CSR group, some big companies. He was the chairman or something. He told one thing: why, when we have investment plans, why can't we have donation plans? Acha, why should we give donation? Are we not part of the society? Every religious, like in Islam, you have the idea of zakat. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5 pillars. Zakat is one of them. Zakat means giving money for the Islamic cause. 2% of your income. Among the 6, it's called daswand. 10th portion of your income. Daswand. Similarly, among the Christians, it is there. Not that Hindus have nothing. Many of the, in Rameshwaram you go, one of the corridors is built by, I think near Rameshwaram there is one place where one big family has built that thing. So they also give donation, but now we need to organize it. So suppose you get your stipend. Why can't you keep 100 rupees away every month? Or 200 rupees, as much as you feel comfortable with. What will happen? Or if I give money, how it will help me in facing challenges of life? First of all, when we learn to give to others, that much of our attachment comes down. Because it is your rightful money. And you are giving it to some cause. Some kind of inner detachment will come. Secondly, it will give you punyam. There was one in Kerala, there was one Swamiji, is no more. He was not from the Ramakrishna mission, he was outside, and he was very good in treating people with Ayurvedic diseases. So once a month he used to come to one of our once in 3 months he used to come to one of our ashramas, and he will stay there and do this. And he used to, some patients will come with very serious problems which the allopathy has failed to cure with all its. He used to tell them, you take this medicine, but you also do satsanga. Listen to some good thoughts. So himself will conduct satsanga. And third thing he will tell, we should earn some punyam. That punya, the concept of punya, that punya will give you some unknown inner power to both have a good health and also to have conducive things around you, and above all, it will purify the mind. That is the idea of dana in India. We have almost forgotten that. We need to revive it. I am not asking to give donation to our organization, Ramakrishna. No, I am not asking that. You want to give, you give. You don't want to give, give. Give others some cause which you think is good, do that. So, by putting these things together, meditation, regular meditation, reading, service and charity, we will be able to build up a holistic approach to life. I think charity is a very important part of life, and today we need it all the more, because the more you earn, the more attachment to money grows. The more money you have, the more you want to have. But actually, how much you need to have? I was listening to a discussion. Why IAS officers become corrupt? Very interesting discussion. The sum total was this, that to begin with, they are not very dishonest. Many of them become dishonest, but to begin with, they are not. They are any good person. Recently, somewhere, some IAS officer was found to have such huge wealth which she could never earn in whole of her life. If she works for 100 years also, she cannot earn. Anyway, so much of currency notes kept on so many places in the house. Why did she come? To try to understand how the crime happens, the psychology behind crime. So in that discussion it comes, first they are okay, they want to do seva and all that. They have some idea of public service. But then slowly they build up a status, they build up a standard of living. And if money is not available, money will not be always available to keep up to your standard. Get it with any way that is possible. And system also will promote it. पता ही नहीं चलेगा, हमने तो आपको सिर्फ one person went to some place and there that person said, हाँ आपका काम हो जाएगा, आप बाहर वो 4 kg आलू दे दीजिए. 4 kg आलू? What he meant was 4 lakh rupees you should give. some kind of, he has made his own code word for that. So this is how corruption, we talk of Upanishads, we talk of Gita, and we are so greedy, so corrupt. What is this? That is because the simple things in life we are not. And keep our lifestyle within the need level, the simple level. Then we will not become corrupt. If we have endless desires, we all have desires, we are not going to give up our desires overnight. But we examine our desires. What do we want through those desires? We are desiring, why we have desire? For happiness. So as we get into this kind of analysis, this kind of understanding of the human personality, we will discover, oh, everything is interconnected. Somewhere it is interconnected. So, what is desire? It is a sense of abhava. A sense of abhava, lack. I don't have this, that is why I want to have it, it's called desire. So, in our scriptures they say, avidya, kama, karma, karma phala, janma. These 5 things. Avidya, kama, karma, karma phala, janma. So first you have avidya. What is avidya? It is not lack of knowledge. Avidya. No. It is confused knowledge. So avidya is, although I am Purna as per my scriptures, as per my rishis, those who have this knowledge, that I am Purna, I am complete. Purna Madah Purna Midam we chanted. So I am complete. But for reason which is not known to me, I suddenly start feeling lack, abhava. That's called desire. Suppose you are complete, where is the need for any desire? Because I feel I am incomplete, so I have a desire. Avidya, kama. Kama will lead to karma. So I have to work hard to fulfill my desire, and you should do that. Then it will give karma phala. So karma phala can be, if your karma is good, the good karma phala. If you're bad, then the bad karma phala. Whether good or bad, it will give janma. Then when janma happens, then marana also will happen. But marana and janma will not end, because still the stock is lying there. Karma stock is lying there. It has to be worked out. So another karma, another janma and marana, another janma and marana. And in between, fresh supply of more and more karma. That is called our Hindu understanding of what we call as bhavasagara, or this existential existence, this bhavasagara. So where do we break the chain? In the Bhagavad Gita, the chain is said to be asanga shastrena dridhena chittva. In the 15th chapter of the Gita it comes. Try to practice certain detachment. So what is a detachment? Some people have strange idea of detachment. Detachment means, अरे किसी को कुछ भी होने जाता है, detached रहो. No, that's not the meaning of detachment. If something happens to somebody, try to help them. If you don't have feeling for others, you are just living a dead life. Then what is the meaning of detachment? Detachment, see, Sri Ramakrishna used to say Maya and what is that? Two words he used to use. That Daya. When I do only for my relatives, that is Maya. When I go beyond even my relatives and try to help others, those who are not related, those who are not going to say thanks to me. You do it for some very needy person in a slum who doesn't even know what is thanks. That is called Daya. So Maya and Daya, they look alike. Some people, they don't understand. Once one person, when I was in Madras, one person came. He had some personal issues. He was very upset. He was sitting next and we were talking. I know he was very emotionally upset. And then afterwards, he suddenly burst into tears also. Then now what advice should I give him? He has come on his own. So I asked him, brother, have you read anything of Swami Vivekananda? This is not the time to tell him, read Vivekananda's book. No, he is very upset. Let him cool down. So he said, yes, I have read. Do you remember anything? You know, his own way of quoting things. He said, yes, Vivekananda said, feel, feel, feel. And he started weeping. I said, this is not the meaning of feel, feel, feel. It is called feel for others, not for yourself. He has developed self-pity. Vivekananda said, feel for others. Not that, oh, I am this, I am so helpless, I am so poor, I am a victim in life, I am a victim of circumstances. Don't think like that. It is negative thinking. So this is how possibly we can correct ourselves and try to live our spiritual life. Any one of you come to IIT Kanpur for anything, please visit our ashram in Kanpur. It's not very far from there, it's 7 kilometers. Just on the straight road. You were asking a question?
So, as you mentioned that there are actually 3 types there, basically Amasic, Rajasic and Aswani. So, means all the people are basically, you can say, combined with these 3 gunas. Okay, so percentage wise, you can say that this particular person has the majority of the Rajasic gunas or Tamasic gunas or my question is that how we move from Rajasic to
In Gita itself, it is said that tamas should be overcome by rajas and rajas should be overcome by sattva. So, actually, all these three are all known as guna, three gunas. One meaning of guna in Sanskrit is rope, rassi. One meaning is guna means quality, another meaning is rassi. So, like you make one rope, there are three strands in that. So, sattva, rajas, tamas are like three strands of the rope of this world. Now, tamas is also required, otherwise you will not get sleep. No tamas. Sri Ramakrishna's case, he had very little of tamas, so he won't get much sleep. Hardly 2 hours or 1.5 hours in a day he will sleep. Don't try. Never. We are ordinary human bodies. He had an extraordinary human body. So we need sleep. But sleep should come at the right time, not in the class. That's the point. Similarly, rajas. Rajas is also needed. Activity is required. So you cannot when you sit for meditation at that time, rajas should not come. Pardon the activity. Or when you are trying to meditate, at that time desire to go and play football comes. That also. So we do not know which guna will start manifesting more suddenly, isn't it? Now, tamas, to reduce tamas, we'll have to work on the anushasana, on our own anushasana. So I suggested to a friend that you try to meditate daily. So that means you will have to get up at a time. You have to give up the bed by that time. So you are doing some anushasana. So anushasana helps us to overcome our tamas. It is also known as tapas. Anushasana is also known as tapas. Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya speaks of tapas as when a given duty you have to do it irrespective of whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. That's also tapas. One tapas I refer to, that somebody goes and sits in quiet in river bank, he will meditate and sit without any connections. That's one type of tapas. So you don't feel like getting up, you don't feel like doing things, and which means there is laziness. But you make up your mind and you kick yourself. No, I must get up. I must do things. This type of struggle is very important. You see, Holy Mother Sarda Devi, she used to live when Sri Ramakrishna was alive, she used to live in a small building called Nahabat, very close to the temple where Sri Ramakrishna used to live. That room. Have you been to Dakshineshwar? Ye hoga. So in Nahabat, there was no bed, not possible to have a bed. It was such a small room. So she would sleep on the floor. There will be a small bed and then she will sleep on that, on the mattresses. So she will get up morning 3:30 for her meditation. And it was cold season one day, and there was another lady also, Lakshmi Didi, she was staying with her. And they did not get up. Sri Ramakrishna was passing by. He said, "Arey, it is morning now, you get up, utho. When he found no sound coming, then actually Lakshmi Didi told to Holy Mother, he has no sleep in his eyes. He won't let us also sleep. Then perhaps Sri Ramakrishna heard it or intuited it. He simply took some water and put it below the door. Then they got up. Then Holy Mother herself says in one place, one day I got up late, and then next day also I didn't want to get up. Then 2-3 days it suddenly now mind is playing. So our mind plays lot of games with us. We will say, today I am very busy, I have no time for all this. So one Swamiji used to make fun. What are sattvic activities? Those activities which can be dropped like a hot potato as soon as you have got a lot of work. That's called sattvic activity. Arey, aaj mere paas time nahi hai, I can't meditate. Because I have got to submit one deadline is there. I have to submit one project. See, we will have to have our own nishtha. I have nishtha towards prayer, I have nishtha towards thing. So there was a disciple of Swami Vivekanandaji. He was the 4th president of the Ramakrishna Mission. I had the blessing of seeing him a couple of times. So one day, around maybe 11 o'clock, he went to sleep. And then again after 45 minutes or 1 hour, he got up and he had gone to some place, Haridwar, in our Haridwar ashram. And then he came back after 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So other Swamiji asked him, Maharaj, abhi to aap soye the, fir chale gaye? Why? What happened? Then he said, you see, my Gurudev had told me to do japa 4 times a day. He said that Sandhyas, Chatur Sandhyas, or say morning, then noon, then evening and late night. So I have to be very great sense of commitment to that. But commitment should come. No? Then we will be able to overcome our tamas by this kind of rajasic activity. So, and those foods which help us to cultivate more of sattva is also very helpful. Food also plays a role. But I will not go into a long discussion of veg, non-veg. I am not putting into it. I don't raise that topic because it is endless. So generally speaking, yes, vegetarian food will be very helpful. So the non-vegetarian food will be helpful for maybe those who are doing lot of, like somebody is in military, is in on the Pakistan border. Anyone has been to Pakistan border? I have been twice, thrice. Our Jammu Ashrama, just 5 kilometers away from Jammu Ashrama is Pakistan border. It is 2,000 kilometers long, you see, so huge. And such a challenging weathers are there. So you cannot be surviving that only on vegetarian. You need some protein and animal protein and all that. For them it is okay. If you are a sadhaka, you are studying in IISc, if it suits you, take vegetarian food. Suppose now you are from Bengal or somebody else is from Bengal who is used to fish eating, you follow your own routine. Don't see, लहसुन खाना बंद करो, ठीक है, फिर प्याज खाना बंद करो, ठीक है, अरे रिश्वत खाना भी तो बंद करो. You see, taking bribe, that we just get lost only in the kitchen, only in food. That should not happen. Yes, certain amount of cleanliness, certain amount of sattvic nature of food is very helpful. It's very helpful. So try these methods. And also regular prayers. Whatever prayer you are given to. Suppose you are initiated into Gayatri, follow that. You are not initiated into Gayatri, you follow your Ram Nam, follow that. You follow some Kali Nam, some Krishna Nam, some Shiva Nam, follow it. Whatever some tradition you are following, follow it. And when should I start it? Abhi to bahut busy hai, I have to do so many things. This is all mind game. I am very busy now. You will have time for watching on YouTube and Instagram, everything. I mean, any of activities. There is a verse in Sanskrit, Yuvaiva dharmashila syat. Kohi janati kada mrityu kalo bhavishyati. Try to be dharmic right when you are young. It is not a retirement plan. now I will live this kind of thing, then I will live spiritual life. You will not be able to live spiritual life. That time you will say, oh, I have become so old now, my mind is not under control. See, unless you start meditating when you are young, you will not be able to meditate when you are old. Because nervous system would have become hardened. The nervous system plays a role in meditation. It is so hardened. Now you are 70-year-old. Whatever you have done the rest of your life, now you can just follow it. So when you are young, you can do a lot of good things, lot of possibilities, lot of potential. In I think Rig Veda or somewhere it comes, Ayam me hasta bhagavat taraha. This hand is like Bhagavan, which means I can do many things. So human beings have so much of potential, for good and for bad, both. So let's go for the good. That's it.
This other question? Maharaj, I asked a question.
Yeah, please.
When we start involving in some spiritual activities, be it some bhakti or Vedanta, and it does start helping us, certain peripheral things drop away. Some peripheral negativities, negative tendencies, which didn't have a very strong grip on us in the first place, they drop away. Even the medium ones drop away. But certain very core deep sanskars, they are not so, they don't easily go away. You tend to get identified with them all the time. So my question is how to change that, because they may be few in number, but they're significantly affecting our lives.
Yes, that is one of the challenges of bringing change in ourselves. And this question or this challenge before us is well understood by our spiritual teachers. Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, he says that in order to change some very deep rooted samskara, you will have to work for a long time. Those which are not very deep rooted, they, as you rightly said, with peripheral things, they will drop off. But certain things which are very deep, the sutra says, Satu dirgha kalena, for a long time, nairantaryena, without interruption, satkara, with respect and shraddha, asevitaha, you will have to practice dhrida bhumi, then you will get that inner stability. So Swami Vivekananda says, same thing, he puts it in this language, he says, go on thinking good thoughts, go on doing good things. That's the only way of bringing transformation in us. It takes time. What has been done for a long time will take time to undo. But let us begin our journey and let us not lose the direction. That is very important. So, I am not doing much these days, but is your direction all right? Keep your direction clear and try to do it more and more. If direction has gone wrong, then they're very difficult. So let the orientation be very clear to us. So we have to do it for a long time. There's no doubt that certain things take a long time, because it's just like a tap root of a tree. You see, I have seen the tap roots, they go very deep. Sometimes they may go to maybe 500 meters, it can go that deep. And then it spreads on the sides also. So when it is so difficult to, have you any time tried to take out one tree root? I have tried once. I thought like many people who had not done it. When I was doing for the first time, when I was in Belur Math, in our garden, there was a small stump. So I thought the stump is there, very simple, I can remove it. Then dig it. No, it is not coming out. Again you dig it and then you find, oh, in between it has got a whole network of smaller roots. Same way our samskaras. First you have to dig open, which means don't try to, do any extraordinary practices. Just follow your moral life and follow your meditation, follow your these few principles. That's sufficient. And this extraordinary, some people will immediately bring some change, some sensational practices. Let us avoid that. Let's live a life, a dignified life. First be, as they say, first be a gentleman. So gentleman is not just in terms of our dress, gentleman in our behavior, in our character, in our words, in our attitudes and practices in life. So then we can build upon that these higher spiritual practices. So it takes time to remove those deep-rooted, samskaras within us. It takes time.
Any further questions?
What time is your food time? No. Food time? This must be your food time. Huh? Okay. Another 15 minutes. What's the time now? 8:30. Oh, I'll have to go. Ashram, I'll have to tell them to keep food for them. Close. So I'm happy that we could spend some time together listening to your questions, queries.